Welcome to the All-American Fencing Academy, our on-strip at home audio series. We have a special guest today. Today we have Nick Itkin. Nick, where do you fence at?
I fence in Los Angeles at my home club. It's called Los Angeles National Fencing Center.
And do you still fence at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I do. But this year I took the year off, and now I'm training in LA this year.
Got it. Were you in the process, or had you qualified for the Olympics this year?
So I qualified for the team slot. We qualified our team, and then two of us are still competing for that individual slot. So we have one more qualifier left.
Oh, okay. But we don't know when that's going to happen now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. A little bit of background on Nick. This is from USA Fencing. And correct me if any of this is wrong. You're currently number 1 in the U.S.?
I'm number 3 right now.
Number 3. And in the world, what rank?
Number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah, 7.
Okay. And then the other ones that I got from USA Fencing was gold in the 2018 individual events for Junior World Championships, and bronze in the 2017 individual Junior World Championships.
Yeah, I got the gold in the Junior Worlds 2018, and we got the bronze in team event that year.
Got it.
And then in 2017, we got the gold in the team event.
Very good. And lastly, 2018 and 2019 NCAA champion for men's foil, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
How, just kind of a little bit of background. How does LA look right now? I was just talking to my friend in New York, and I'm in North Carolina, and things look a little bit different here. You go outside, it still looks about the same. There's still the same amount of cars that's driving around. What's LA look like?
Yeah, I mean, there's still cars out, but obviously all the stores and restaurants and beaches are closed, so we're just keeping ourselves quarantined.
Right. Are you able to do any kind of training during this time?
Yeah, mostly just physical training, just trying to get in good physical shape. Obviously, not much fencing because I can't do much, but right. I'm just trying to get in good shape.
And who's your coach?
So my coach in LA, I work with my dad, Itkin, and my other coach is Igor Zapozdev. And then in Notre Dame, Bucky Leach is the coach.
Yeah. Okay.
And Furful, and the head coach is Gia.
Okay. Are you able to do anything with it? My son fences too, and I'm a coach, so we're able to still do stuff with with ourselves. Are you able to do anything with your dad?
Yeah, he's lucky. Yeah, we're lucky. We can work a little bit, but for the most, I've done a little bit, for the most part, just been running and
right.
Just trying to get
Well, that's good. So I invited you to talk with us today because we do, just like all the other clubs, we've been doing a mixture of Zoom classes and YouTube videos, whatever we can get to get to our students. But we've also been doing something new for just the audio portion. We've been talking about resilience, either as an athlete or during a competition. And I saw this video, a year ago when it came out, was that 2019 bout that you had with Tommaso Marini. Is that his last name? Yeah, Marini.
Marini, yeah.
And you had come back from a very big deficit. It was just amazing to watch.
Yeah, thank you.
And I looked up the results from that tournament. You came in, I think, at the number 9 seed, and Tommaso was at the number 23 seed. And you had gone 5-1 into pools, and he had gone 4-2 into pools. And into the DEs, you had seeded 9th, and he seeded 44th. And right before that, going into that bout, I saw that you had defeated Miles, who was seeded higher than you, right?
I don't remember at the time, but yeah, I did fence Miles before that.
Okay. Yeah, and Miles is no slouch either. so yeah. That must have been a good feeling. Hey, I'm having a good day. I just got past Miles, and do you think to yourself when you're, especially at the 8th seed, okay, hey, I'm number 9 and Tommaso is at 44. Is there a part of you that says, hey, I mostly got this in the bag. I just got to work hard, make sure I'm doing all the right things, and I've got this. Do you think that?
Well, I feel like the seeding is kind of like you never know because someone could have an off day in pools and
right.
Yeah, but like I know the fencer,
mm-hmm.
So for me, if I know the fencers, which is like the case in all these senior tournaments, like I know exactly, like I have a mindset to go on that bout, so
right.
I know what I want to do.
And we'll probably talk about that a little bit. So let's go ahead and cue up the video. I'll say 1, 2, 3, go, and we'll press play at the same time. Does that sound good?
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go. I got to turn off my sound. So while this is while you guys are getting ready to fence, you have fenced Tommaso before.
Yeah, I've fenced him a few times already. We grew up juniors, so we fence a lot in juniors too.
Okay, so he's about right around the same age as you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know, or do you happen to remember, like what your win-loss is against Tommaso?
Yeah, I believe I'm 3-1.
3-1. Okay, so you're coming into this relatively confident, right?
Yeah.
Do you still get? I don't know if it's different for elite fencers. I'm definitely not an elite fencer, and my fencers are not. Do you still get anxious or butterflies before a big competition?
Yeah, sure. I feel like it's normal, but everyone goes about it different ways. For me, it's kind of, I like to. It doesn't even hurt me sometimes. It just makes me feel like I'm ready for a tournament because that's just like the feeling I get.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, but, it's the routine that you have. It's like, okay, this is the what I feel in my head, what I feel in my heart, and what I feel in my stomach. You mentioned routines. Like, do you have a routine getting ready for a tournament or at the tournament?
Not just like a normal routine. Like I warm up, take a lesson or anything.
Right.
And it's just, I think that whole experience, getting ready, like make sure I have plenty of time to warm up, it kind of gets me ready and in the zone.
Yeah.
And I think it's just experience. Like once you start competing more and more, like you'll get more and more used to this feeling, and you'll be more and more comfortable with it.
I see. You said you fenced Tommaso, several times before. Did you have an idea of like, okay, here's his strengths, here's his weaknesses, going into that bout?
Yeah, but as you see, like the beginning of the bout, definitely did not go my way. So
watching, and I've watched this a few times before, it looked like you were doing correct things. You had that good solid parry repost. It was just you missed it, and he was getting those remises. Am I right on those?
Yeah, exactly. So the thing with Tommaso is he's like a very uncomfortable fencer to fence against.
Uh-huh.
So he's got like a very long lunge.
Uh-huh.
Like it's kind of hard to tell, but his lunge is actually like he can hit you from very far away. And then he kind of just like rolls his back shoulder in and gets these remises on you.
Right.
And like this whole first bout, basically, I was getting a parry post and I would just miss. I would just miss the timing for my post, and he would just keep like crawling in, and I would just miss every single time.
Right, the distance was changing on those. I do see that his back shoulder, just as he goes for the attack, when he's trying to remise, he just brings that shoulder in.
Yeah,
were you
gotta like rearrange the distance, and I wasn't finding that in the beginning of the bout.
Had you seen that before? Was that something you were prepared for?
Sorry?
Had you seen that before? Was that something you were prepared for?
Yeah, but I feel like I wasn't finding the correct distance. Like I probably had like the correct actions, but I just wasn't in the right distance, and I couldn't like notice that directly. And usually I could attack pretty well against it on him, but my attacks were like off timing in this bout in the beginning, and he would just hit me with a counter.
I'm at. You're probably looking at 2. I'm at 4-0. I just got to 5-0 right now.
Yeah.
And I know, at least for me, when I fence, and even when I'm coaching my fencers, that 5-touch bout, it's almost like anything can happen. You just got to hit the ground running, but sometimes anything can happen on these elimination rounds. When it's 5-0 like that, you're not worried, are you?
I mean, you're definitely thinking that you need to change something. Like,
right.
You just shouldn't be like comfortable with the way you're fencing. You're
right.
Trying to find another action or figure something's wrong, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's nothing to like you definitely can't give up or anything. But you just need to find try a new action, try something else, and try to figure out what he's doing to beat you.
And I tell that to my fencers, like, hey, you've done this 5 times and it hasn't worked, and stop doing that. As you keep on fencing here, have you, either at Notre Dame or your own coaches, have you guys talked about any resilience training or anything of that fashion?
Notre Dame, actually, yeah, we do a lot of we talk about like mental training, and we talk about like a lot of different stuff that goes on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is important.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, at the end of the day, like, it really is just experience. Like, when I was younger, like, I obviously was, like, I was definitely much mentally weaker, and now I'm traveling, like, all over the senior circuit, and
right.
I feel much more confident.
That builds some confidence.
Yeah.
What year, how old were you when you started fencing?
7. I started around 7.
Started when you were 7, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I assume with your dad?
Yes.
Yeah. I just saw the last touch. You finally got your first repost here. The last touch, you had a nice, great long attack, and he got a counterattack, I think it was. You, and again, having watched this bout several times, it doesn't look like you get down on yourself. Like, when you're walking back to the on-guard line, you never look down on yourself. It's like, hey, I'm still in this game, but I don't see you a lot frustrated, really, all that much. Is that true?
I mean, I probably was pretty frustrated at this moment. But I'm at the same time, I'm just like trying to find another action, trying to figure out what I'm getting hit on. And eventually, like, in the end of the bout, like, I start to figure it out,
mm-hmm.
and I just keep that action going because it was working and he couldn't change.
Do you?
But
the other thing I don't see you go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just right now, like, he's beating me in every moment, basically.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I also don't see happening a lot, and I'm sure, who's your coach during this, by the way?
It's my dad.
Here's your dad. You don't look back a lot. Like, I've seen just even my opponents, or when I'm watching bouts like this, when something's not working, they're just constantly looking back, like, what do I do? What do I do? And I don't see that from you, and I think that's great. You're not having to always depend on your coach to try to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was like that actually younger for sure. I would always be looking at my coach, but I'm listening to what he has to say,
mm-hmm.
And I'm taking it in my head.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm also like trying to figure out and thinking for myself. And if I have advice, like, that's great. Like, I can obviously try what he's suggesting.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like you're thinking. You have to be ready to change for yourself, not just wait for someone to tell you what to do. Right.
Definitely. There's 2 parts of that. It's like, okay, coach is saying this. I have to take that into account. I have to try to do what he's saying, but also he's not the one on the strip right now.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not saying don't listen to your coach. I'm saying that you have to be thinking for yourself too before even the coach says his suggestion.
What do you do when you start to get frustrated? Like, when you start to have, one of the things that we talked about in resilience with some of the kids is just negative thinking. What do you do to try to get yourself out of those negative thoughts? Is there things that go to your mind? Do you have words you tell yourself, like, okay, this is what I got to do?
I mean, I feel like you always have to have like a winning mentality. Like, no matter what's going on in the bout, like, you don't have any time to be down on yourself and get frustrated. It's a quick bout.
Absolutely.
You need to be on it, like, even if you're down, you need to be on it and fight for the touch, because with a quick bout and anything can happen. But you need to just have that winning mentality that like you can still, you got this. Like I'm confident in myself.
That last touch, if you saw it, where you just got your 4, kind of going into a little bit of analysis. I saw you do it a couple times. He's moving forward, and you're trying to catch him on preparation. Do you happen to remember what you were trying to do there?
Yeah, so I was trying to get on his preparation, and what ended up happening is he has this big lunge, and he would just miss the target, kind of how I was missing my parry post. So he couldn't control like the short distance target, and he would just over lunge. Right,
and you did it again there, and you actually do it several times doing the bout, which is, and I was trying to figure out what the action was. If you were, I couldn't hear if you were getting the blade, or if you were just catching them in preparation.
It's preparation, but probably if there was 2 lights, it'd still be his attack. Right. But he's just like missing the target.
Right. And is that something that you recognized for yourself, or was a coach mentioning that?
I don't remember at the time. It was either, it could have been, I don't remember at the time, to be honest. I just remembered that was the action I found, and I'm gonna. You're gonna
stick with it. If you find something that works, you stick with it, right?
Yeah.
He just, I don't know if he just, gave the weapon to the referee. He's missed. He's gone unanswered within the last couple touches. So you've got some pretty good confidence boosters here. Are any of the teammates off to the side?
Yeah, I remember Garrick was also fencing on the strip, so we got I got some teammates there, some there, but yeah, I love having teammates there. It definitely, I always love a crowd and having people support me.
For your personal, what do you like best coming from your teammate? Yeah, definitely they're cheering them on, but is there anything specific that, hey, here's how you can help me?
Well, I fence in the team events. When I fence in the team events, I love hearing what my teammates suggest, because we all fence these people like so many times, and before the bout, like, right, especially like they're all older, they've been on the circuit way longer than me, and they're like, their advice is like really interesting and like really helpful, especially like they give me certain advice against certain fencers. Yeah, and it really helps.
If you have that little bit of information right off the bat, and some of the kids that I have, you'll see them, they're on their phone, texting or doing whatever between bouts. Like, dude, watch these fencers. If you've got something that can give you 1 or 2 touches right off the bat, that's going to help.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, on the senior circuit, like I'm pretty sure I know every single fencer, but like if when you're younger, like you don't know the fencer, you definitely want to watch like the other bouts in their pool just to see what actions they're doing. So maybe you have an idea of what you want to do during the bout.
Right. So we're in our minute break. Just while this is happening, have you had other good comebacks before, other than this?
Yeah, I've had a few actually. I remember at Junior Worlds in 2017, I was losing 14-8 in like a 64 bout, and I came back and won that one.
That's pretty cool. To hold them back at 14, we do have some épée fencers here, and I can't imagine someone in épée trying to do that. I've seen it happen, but it's at least foil, we've got right of way on our side.
Yeah.
Do you remember by chance what your dad was saying at this time?
He probably was telling me to keep the attack on preparation going and be ready for that. And I probably was saying that my attack is always short and I need to get closer before I start my attack, and it can't just be lunge, at least step lunge or step lunge, because there was this like counter where he sticks his arm out all the time.
I saw that a few times. Do you take into account, you as a fencer, or maybe your dad too, do you take into account what the other coach might be saying?
Normally, like, I don't really think about that. I'm just focusing on what he's doing. If I see him changing or doing, then I have to change again. So yeah.
Right. And cutting it close here, we're at 14, and you're testing your weapon. Now you're a little frustrated that didn't go off.
Yeah.
What my coach, I fenced for UNC back in the day. I was at the time, other people that was fencing with me, Gary Gong Lu, who heads up Absolute Fencing, and Dan Kellner was in Columbia at the same time I was fencing at UNC. When I was talking to my coach, we talked about being mentally healthy athletes. What would you say is part of being mentally healthy as an athlete, or what would you put in there?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important, but I just think that you have to have like a winning mentality when you're fencing, and be confident in yourself, and just be a fighter. Like you won't know what you want. You gotta have those high goals. That's like something I've always had for me, was like I always like wanted the best for me, and I put my mind to it. So I really work for.
That's good. We are at 9:14 here. There's that closing that distance again, which has been working really well for you. So now you're within goal here. The other things that we talked about, and I don't coach full time. That's my part time. I have a full time job. I actually work for the Army.
Nice.
And I'm not in the Army. I work for the Army. But one of the things that I do teach to soldiers and family members is resilience, and there is something in there that we call putting it in perspective. And within that section, we have something called me, them, and always, always, always. This is something like something's going wrong. A me person is, it's always me. I'm doing something wrong. I'm always making it happen. Them person is a person that says, you guys are always screwing everything up. And always, always, always is something that you feel like you have no control over anything. This always happens. Like, oh, my weapon always doesn't work. Do you find yourself in any of those categories by chance? Like, oh, it's something I'm always doing, something that they're doing, or this always happens. Do you find yourself in any of those categories?
I mean, you don't want to blame it. You can't blame losing on anyone else except yourself. You're the one in control of the bout.
Right. Absolutely.
at the time.
And that's a great point.
Like if you blame it on a full, like you always can change your full. Like if it's your full, then it means that you were the one preparing it. So it all ends up to you. But and you always like if something's not working, like if the opponent is doing something to beat you, then you need to be the one to change.
Right.
You can't just like give up because the opponent is doing something so good, so you give him the credit. It always comes down to you. Right. My opinion.
No, that is an excellent point. And I don't think he's only used one replay. You haven't used any replays at all. And I think this bout, tell me what you think, has been pretty much clean cut in terms of the refereeing.
I don't think that there was any. This one call.
I remember this one. He goes to look it up, and I was like, and I wrote down in my notes. I was like, I know the outcome of this bout, and every time I watch it, I especially here, I'm like, I get anxious. It's like, oh man.
It was definitely a close call. Hard call. It's probably easier on video than on here. Right.
Do you have any mantras, like things that you just tell yourself during these bouts?
Like I always like try to give positive like reinforcement, like saying like I got like whatever I say in my head is like positive, thinking that my confidence. But I'm always trying to figure out the action or the timing or the distance. Like that's just mostly going on in my head is the action that I want to do, or the timing and the distance that I want to do it in.
I also think, and I might be wrong, Tommaso might have seen, that finish line We've done exercises too where someone is so close to finishing, and that's where they start making their mistakes. And it doesn't look like Tommaso had made changes to the changes you made.
He maybe he got too excited for his medal or something, but he kind of kept the same action going, and I didn't change because he didn't figure it out. So
right. Yeah, he hadn't made that additional step of hey, what's Nick doing now? Before it was working, it's not working now, and he's still trying to do something. Another great repost, great distance.
Yeah, so this touch, basically, I used to take the parry in the same place, and I would miss the repost, but I took an extra step back here, so I would fit in the repost.
Yeah. Really close one. We'll go and finish off this bout. You're really there. Facconi. I always find watching Facconi, to me, he seems like a little bit different fencer, just the way he fences.
Yeah, he's definitely, he kind of came out of nowhere, and he's taking over the game right now, for sure. Even in this tournament, actually, I lost to him for the gold medal, 15-14.
Right.
In this tournament. He's definitely a very physical guy. He's very strong, and he pushes forward, and he has some very unique targets where he finishes. He's very comfortable to finish under the arm.
I've seen that plenty of times. The last one, that was just a nice, solid, great distance parry repost. And Tommaso just really looks defeated now. But yeah, that was a great bout. Just kind of things to, again, thank you for joining us and talking about some of the things that you mentioned about resilience and being a mentally healthy athlete and things that you do to prepare for a tournament. A quick question here. What are, and I always ask this to a lot of our guests, what are some things that you would say above anything else that our fencers should be doing or could be doing at home just to maintain their practice?
Yeah, I feel like maybe this is just me, but a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands, so it's a great time to try and work on speed and acceleration and stamina and anything with explosion workouts, and at the same time watch some fencing, watch year bouts, watch high level bouts, and try to find some new actions or find some of the mistakes that you're making.
Those are great ideas. One last question, completely outside of fencing, because people have time on their hands. If you were to recommend a movie or series to watch, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, whatever, what is your favorite? What do you recommend?
That's tough. I'm kind of behind, but I just started watching Game of Thrones this quarantine.
Oh, really? What season are you in?
It's literally season 1. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
You're in for a ride.
yeah, it's insane. It's amazing.
Well, enjoy the series. I'll try not to put out any spoilers. Try not to look up any spoilers. But yeah, you're in for a ride. Again, thank you, Nick, for joining us today. Be safe where you are in LA, and hopefully a lot of this goes over pretty soon. We can get back into our routine of fencing. But any last words from you?
No, thank you. Thanks.
Oh, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me. I hope you guys are safe and healthy as well.
All right. Well, you have a good one.
Thanks. You too.